Peace, family. It's your brother, Marc Lamont Hill. Welcome to Night School. That's right. Every night here on the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel, we hold Night School, where we break down the deepest conversations, the most intense debate, the most urgent topics going on in the world today. We don't do drive-by analysis. We don't do superficial talking points. We have a deep global classroom where we do deep dives on issues that matter, and we try to move the conversation forward. We're doing that again tonight. As always, it's been a crazy week, and so I am bringing somebody in who y'all all know to help me make sense of this.
I was jamming to the music.
I'm about to say, you see the new MLH music?
Yeah, I was jamming.
I appreciate that. Now, you this may be the most unorthodox guest appearance I've had so far. You in the pool?
Yeah, I am. There's a lot going on, so I'm here. Self-care.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, let me start off by talking about everybody's frustration with the RNC convention. Donald Trump last night, as many of you all know, showed up to the RNC convention and accepted the party's nomination for president. And he said something very particular that I wanna get your opinion on, Amanda, because it was something that white people loved. White people were eating it up. They really were. I was like, it was all over the media. It was all over the Fox News talking points. Listen to this. This is what he said.
Our borders will be totally secure. Our economy will soar. We will return law and order to our streets, patriotism to our schools, and importantly, we will restore peace, stability, and harmony all throughout the world. But to achieve this future, we must first rescue our nation from failed and even incompetent leadership.
So he came out swinging yesterday, talking about he's going to save America. Basically, I want to make America great again. But the idea was that this was a kinder, gentler Donald Trump, that he was softer, more mellow, that he was more statesman-like, and that he said, red, black, yellow, white, whatever, I got y'all. We're all in this together. Did he seem different?
I mean, I just think it's a front. I mean, it's not accurate, so it's not true, and nothing that he's said even supports that. I mean, I think the caveat is I'm down for all of y'all as long as you have allegiance to me. I mean, that's what he's saying. It's not like he's saying I support all of you all. He just talked about black jobs the other day. Like even literally just the centering of jobs for specifically black people in that context lets you know that he does not consider us to be quote unquote Americans in the larger broader context. So I think the gentler is really just dynamics. I mean, he's down.
That might be the meds kicking in.
I was going to say that, and then I remembered that he wasn't really injured. So I think that it's really just, I think it's just, it's political theater. This is the man came out. Did you see? It was like he was in Chicago. Foxy, Roxy, Heart. He might as well have sang Razzle Dazzle. So all of this is a bunch of performative bullshit. The man literally just said the other day, like, I don't know anything about Project 2025. What?
Yeah, he said he had nothing to do with that. He said that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's some other people. I love it. I'm glad you said black jobs too, because he said something very interesting about black jobs that to me sounded kind of like a threat. He said the black population is going to die. I'm sorry, that really sounds like a threat. The black population is going to die. The black people are going to be decimated by the millions of people that are coming into the country. So he's making that hard pitch that I'm blocking these immigrants because if not, they're not just going to take the black jobs, But y'all
Well,
gonna
this is
die.
just replacement theory. I mean, this is what they have pitched to white people, and now they're just trying to garner a whole other swath of voter by saying this shit. I mean, it's not like he's saying anything new. He's just saying it to a different batch of people. But it does not change that this is a racist person. The people around him are racist. Their rhetoric, their policies are all racist. Nothing about that is going to just shift all of a sudden. It's simply just political theater. We're in an election. They have made it abundantly clear what they're about.
That is real. There's a question that came in from Adrian here that I've been thinking about all week. She said, "Why do some people, 50 Cent, Amber Rose, etc., fall for it?" 50 is a little different because I think 50 to me is cynical and is like, look, I can get paid if I go on this RNC stage.
All the above.
All the above. But what about like when I watched the convention and I saw Amber Rose up there, who I know and actually generally like, I was surprised that she showed up to the convention. And the thing that I always wonder when I see people like that is like, are they hustling us or are they wrong and just don't get it? Like she came on stage and she said this.
Realize Donald Trump and his supporters don't care if you're black, white, gay, or straight. It's all love. And that's when it hit me. These are my people. This is where I belong.
She right. That's exactly where she belongs.
I don't know. Do you believe it when you, and I don't just mean Amber in particular, I mean like black Republicans in general on the show, because there was a whole lot of Negroes there. Some were like, I'm so happy to be here, and I know they are really just cooning. And then others, I'm like, y'all stupid.
So I think there's a couple different buckets. There's the people who are just getting a check. So everybody who's there is getting something from being there that they don't have for themselves or that they aren't getting from somewhere else. So some people are there getting a check. Some people are there getting tokenism and making them, and getting the feeling that they matter. And some people are there getting a pardon.
Now that's an interesting thought, and I mean that across the board. I mean, we saw with Lil Wayne when he took that hostage photo a couple years ago. It was like, why is Lil Wayne rocking with? It's like, oh wait, little pesky weapons or drug case will do that for a Negro. That actually makes me feel better about people. Like, I mean, at least I can understand it.
Right, it's true. It's true. I think it's also just a really great example of the moral depravity of this nation at this point.
Oof. Another thing that crossed my mind when I thought about moral depravity was like, they think we're stupid. And I know a lot of us are stupid, right? I mean, so Donald Trump, before he hits the stage, one of the great statesmen in American history hits the stage to introduce him, basically. And I'm talking about this guy. Watch this.
Lowlifes, all you scumbags, all you drug dealers, and all you crooked politicians need to answer one question, brother. What you gonna do when Donald Trump and all the Trumpomaniacs run wild on you?
I thought he was describing Trump's following.
Right.
All you drug dealers, all you criminals, all you shady statesmen, that's his following.
It really is. I'm like, they have such a low expectation of us and of the base. I mean, Hulk Hogan? Not George Bush.
They was hype. They was hype. He probably really like requested that. I mean, Hulk Hogan the other day did some racist shit.
Hulk Hogan stayed doing some racist. I gotta say, Hulk Hogan, when I met him, was very nice to me. He arm wrestled my daughter. She won, of course. He let her win. He was really cool. And I was like, why everybody say Hulk Hogan racist? He's not that racist. He seemed nice to me. And then like an hour after he left the HuffPost set, there was a leak of him calling like 10 people nigger. I'm was
I'm
like,
surprised you wasn't one of them. Like,
could have been. I'm probably on the next.
he washed his hands so quick after that. After that arm wrestle, he was like, "Somebody got any antibacterial? Let me wash this nigger hand off of me." Yeah.
Yo,
No,
it's
it's
wild.
but it's also like I think I was telling you about this earlier. Like, I just feel like a lot of people don't really realize that like this is politics in a lot of other places. It's mayhem. Like
Yeah.
it's mayhem. I mean, in a lot like there's things that happen in countries in Africa where they're just like arresting the person who's running for office before they can run. Like, you know, if you are um I mean, shit, if you in Russia, they just gonna poison you. Like, I mean,
Right.
there's just so many. I mean, look at check out the Bobby Wine documentary. Bobby Wine is a politician who was running for president in damn, what country was that?
Uganda.
Uganda?
Mhm.
In Uganda. You know, and so for everyone who's watching, like, just check out that documentary. Like, the man, they're wilding, and it's
Yeah,
so
that's
I just,
ridiculous.
I mean, the look at Kagame, Paul Kagame in Kenya. He just won the election with 99.1% of the vote.
He's
What are we
really
talking?
popular. He's really popular.
They had the nerve to make that a graphic.
Yo,
They
Kagame.
literally.
I know. It's like, why are we doing it? Kagame is evil, man. He you know, I was when Paul Rusesabagina was his flight was diverted and they took him back to Rwanda and basically kidnapped him. It was really ugly. I mean, they basically kidnapped him and everybody was kind of like, yeah, that's what you think was going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, and everyone was so matter of fact about it. And then we kind of caught their government. We caught their government conspiring to lie to us on. Like, I literally have a video of them talking about how they were going to lie to us at Al Jazeera about diverting the plane. I'll send it to you. It's amazing. It's amazing. And Mr. Rusesabagina came home in the spring, but like, it was just like, wow. But as Americans, sometimes we start to forget that our government we do the same shit. We just got better technology.
Literally.
Right.
That's
Like
it.
we turn the Zoom off. You know what I mean? Before that's kind
And
of it.
do we? Because literally Robert F. Kennedy's son just leaked a video of him talking to Donald Trump post Eargate.
Yes.
It's like, and basically conspiring, you know, showing for what it's worth that they are conspiring together.
So I'm glad you said Eargate. Like, this Donald Trump getting shot there. I'm telling you my perspective. And feel free to weigh in or not weigh in on it. I believe that Donald Trump. No, I don't believe that. I believe there was a shooting.
Yeah.
No doubt. I am sure there was a shooting. I'm sure that guy shot a gun. Terrible aim. I mean, just fucking terrible aim. But
He wasn't supposed to have good aim. He was supposed to shoot in that direction. How does your right ear get wounded when someone's shooting from the left? Just explain that to me and we can go home.
so what do you think happened? Was it like this was just supposed to be some idiot who takes a bad shot, gets knocked out, and Trump looks like a hero, and he just got closer than he was supposed to?
Does that sound far-fetched to you when you say it out loud?
None of it sounds far-fetched. Nothing sounds far-fetched to me. I think if I just had to put my money on a theory, is that he was a lone crazy person who got to sneak in because he's a white person. If I walk into a MAGA rally thinking about a gun, I'm going to get shot. But he comes in, he's carrying a gun, but a lot of them have guns, Kyle Rittenhouse type stuff, right? He climbs up, they start to notice, and then they're like, okay, I know he's white, but we still got to kill him. He's got a gun, right? We actually still have to kill him here. And they do, and he got, and that Donald Trump's security was lax, Secret Service was lax, and they got a little bit closer than they should have. Not that, and I don't necessarily think that people knew about it.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah, why not? What's your theory? What do you think? Or at least what's wrong with? What do you think is wrong with my theory? You think it's far fetched that he got in on his own without people knowing?
Everything you're saying is far-fetched because you're speaking from a place of logic and rationale with someone who has demonstrated to you a multitude of times that they are completely performative. They are diabolical and they are a pathological liar who will do anything for power, including killing people.
That's true. So what is the, if you just had to put your money on a theory? I don't, and we don't know what happened, obviously, but if you had to put your money on a theory, what would it be?
I mean, on a theory, it would be that they did what many other politicians in other places have done, which is planned what looks like an assassination attempt. And with the collateral damage happened. And what's fascinating is that the collateral damage, the person who died, their family is like, and we're still voting for Trump.
Which is the craziest shit. Okay.
So there's that. And that this
Wild.
person was killed because they know the truth. I mean,
I see that. Like a cover up.
well, no, the person was killed because they were always going to be killed. They
I see.
probably signed up for this because it was, you're going to be a great American hero. And the person that they have described this person to be was somebody who was an outcast. Well, not an outcast, but one of these like lone wolf kind of outlier, these I want to be down, pimply face. Like, I've had all this white boy rhetoric pumped into me, like retinol into my skin. And I just, this is going to make me mean something. But ultimately, there is no possible way that his security lost track of him. They had snipers on roofs, and if the people are seeing someone on a roof, the security is seeing people on a roof. This is the same person who has had people escorted out of his rallies for holding up a sign that says "We don't like Trump." They have had people fight
That's a solid
people.
point.
They have had fight people in their rallies for saying we don't like Trump. He has instructed people to fight people in his rallies for saying we don't like Trump. So you're telling me that this individual who will just happen to be on a roof that nobody else was on and had a weapon was just not seen as a threat? I mean, they have literally seen anyone against him as a threat. So why would someone on a roof aimed in his direction not be resembled as a threat when they also know that there are people that don't like him? That doesn't make sense.
It's a solid point. Like I said, I don't know what happened, but none of it adds up to me. And then
It just doesn't add up. And there's been too many like former military snipers who have like done the diagrams and like, okay, from this direction, et cetera, et cetera. Like they've done too much analysis. Furthermore, on just a very, 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 very simple level, if your ear was shot, you would be in immense pain.
so
The
that's the other thing
cartilage,
I couldn't
the
get. That's the other
cartilage
thing
in
I
your
didn't get.
ear also bleeds a lot. So you
So
would be in immense pain and the blood would not go. If you're, why would the blood be like this? Like, like, what are we talking about? Like, if you're turned this way and the bullet came this way, why would the blood splatter that way? That doesn't even make any sense. Secondly, you wouldn't be worried about your shoes. You would be in pain. Have you ever gotten your ear pierced?
no.
It is very painful. And that is not the same as a bullet flying through an ear. And anyone in here in the comments who's like, I feel like we're giving this person credibility, you better not be talking about me because I'm credible like a mofo. So ultimately, this situation on a
Facts.
very basic level has way too many questions attached to it to just be taking it bar none.
That's fair.
And
I got
anytime you see mainstream media all rallying around something that has questions, you should know you need to ask more questions.
I think that's a solid point too. With the ear thing, this is my last question on this. This is the thing I didn't get. There's no clear explanation. I've been talking about it all week on my show. Like, I don't understand what happened. His son goes on CBS and kind of says, well, it's just a flesh wound. It wasn't it wasn't that. There were no stitches needed. Was this supposed to be shrapnel? Was this supposed to be a bullet? What was supposed to actually hit his ear? Because the idea that
The glass, they're saying that the glass from the teleprompter, but then they're like, people are like, oh, it was the glass from the teleprompter, but then him and his camp are saying that
he got grazed by and I'm like, the odds of an assassin's bullet grazing your ear and not getting anything else is nearly impossible. Because if a sniper got that close to your head, you probably
wait, let me just clear up something for people. Y'all are talking about getting an ear pierced down here. Down here is not the painful part. Getting your ear pierced up here is incredibly painful. This is painful up here. Like, what are y'all talking about?
Right. Yeah. Not this. Everybody gets this. This is nothing.
The lobe is not the painful part.
There's
It's
no
up
cartilage
here.
in the lobe. Right. It's up here. That's where people be screaming and painful. I remember when my teenage
And the
daughter.
people talking about like adrenaline would make you. I'm just like, this is like a 77-year-old man, like who is
Right.
not healthy at all.
And it's not like he grew up in the hood where he's ducking bullets and taking strays. He's probably never been near a gunshot before. The man ducked the war because of bone spurs. Like, there's absolutely no way. And he had the presence of mind to throw up the fist and say, let's go. You got to admit, though, that was a badass photo. I mean, if you're going to make a
That
photo.
was the whole point.
Right.
So, when you see photographers that were not even phased.
Yeah.
Really? So the photographer who got that photo was just not phased that gunshots just rang out from an undetermined source. Also, like, okay, they killed that guy, but they didn't have enough time in that amount of time to secure the perimeter. There was no reason for Secret Service to trust that this individual shooter was the only shooter. No reason. So to say this is the only we've sourced it out. We're good. Is odd to me because if Secret Service is really protecting him, then they're going to make sure that he is not in possible danger at all from anybody else.
Right.
And there's just not enough ability in that amount of time to make that assertion.
Right.
And if there is a hole in their security, then they would have to assume in that moment, if we miss that, we may have missed something else. So we need to really protect this person. I don't know.
Solid point. I'm sorry. Dejuma Boutique said it's not like you grew up in there. Oh, that's what I said. Yeah, really, Mark. We're stereotyping. I don't think it's a stereotype to say that Donald Trump didn't grow up in the hood.
How is that a stereotype? That's just a reality. Like
Words
your
have meaning.
experiences inform your experience informs your experience. Like,
right. Donald Trump didn't grow up around gunshots. You know what I mean? Everybody in the hood doesn't grow up around gunshots, but Donald Trump didn't grow up around gunshots.
Like, I did not grow up around gunshots. So I experienced that when I got to New York, and I had a whole new experience.
Yes, exactly. And so, yeah, friend. It's I'm gonna say Donald Trump wasn't prepared for this kind of life, and yeah, he had the presence of mind to hit the deck, jump up, pump a fist.
What I'm saying though is that like I get to ask these questions, and the assertion by so many people to say that you shouldn't be allowed to ask these questions is really the problem. Like, there's no reason why you all should be supporting silencing of a valid concern when there are valid concerns. And this person has also said, I said ear gauge. This person has also been a part of a previous activation where lives were taken solely in the goal of creating a win for him. January 6th was solely about him, and lives were lost, and they continued to be in jeopardy after.
That's absolutely true. All right, I'm gonna move on to something else before I know you gotta go. I got two things I want to ask you about real quick. One of them is
Wait, let me say something real quick. For everybody in here who says I sound crazy, all of y'all were the same people who said I sounded crazy when in October I said I put money down that I put money down that Biden's not going to be the nominee. I said that on October 19th. I said I put money down. I said I really don't believe Biden's going to be the nominee. And people were like, you want Trump to win. You're a MAGA. You don't know what you're talking about. Then a month ago, I said, I don't think he's going to be the nominee, y'all. And they said, how dare you? We don't have time.
We don't have time. Oh, that's the shit that irritates me the most, that we don't have time for. Last week I said 2 weeks ago I said it's time for Biden to step out. I like you, I said he ain't gonna make it to the end. Last week I said it's time for stuff. People said I'm hurting American democracy. I'm supporting Trump. I'm like, I said the man after that debate didn't know where he was. He was confused. And then when he had a show of strength to show that he was okay and that he was ready to be president, he called Vladimir Putin. He called Kamala Harris Donald Trump. I mean, like, these aren't signs, that you should be president. They're not even signs you should be driving. Like there's things like, do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't send him to the mall to bring something back. Like, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. He's a smart guy, good guy, whatever. I'm not sure saying like put him away.
But then you have people like Louis C. right here. Speculation reaching doesn't help the cause without evidence. So even though I gave very, very clear examples supported by other examples, like this is literally what we are supposed to do. If we are not speculative about our government, we are simply just sheep. And I'm going to be a speculative person because I used to be a sheep, and that is done. Go ahead.
And the thing is, this isn't somebody.
Mark, you got to push back, bro. Shut the fuck up. Who are these people?
I don't have to push back. What am I supposed to push back against? Like, if she said something crazy, I'd say, I don't see it that way. But I do see it that way. I mean, I don't know what happened that day, but I do agree that we have to question what happened that day. And my thing is, what has Donald Trump done to merit the benefit of the doubt?
I don't know. That's why I'm confused. That's literally why I'm so confused. Like, if anything, all he has done is earn the doubt.
Right.
So that's why it's beyond my scope of comprehension why so many people are like, oh,
right. How dare you? The Donald would never. Like, what? He actually would and does. He makes shit up all the time.
All the time. Like, I just saw somebody fact check his speech last night, and they were just like, I don't even have time.
I post these comments sometimes just because I get such a kick out of them. Mark is a submissive male, feminine man. I'm a beta bro.
You're a beta bro. Oh my God. You're a beta
man,
bro.
They love calling. They do that. They like to call me Lamoist too. It's one of the big ones. Marc Lamont Hill. They really enjoy that. And
why are they so mean?
I don't know. And I'm always fascinated. They're so hyper masculine and homophobic, and they're also how moist I am. And I'm just like, this is weird to me. Like this whole conversation is like, are you moist? I don't even know.
Who would you consider to be moist? Like Van Jones?
If I just had to use that framing, yeah. I reject the framing because I feel like anytime you have a perspective that's not hyper masculine and toxic, they call you moist. But like, if I just had let me tell you something about Van Jones, since we're just talking about it for a second. And Van and I work together, we've been cool, But lately, Van has just become like somebody else, man.
I know. I know. I just wonder what he's committed himself to.
I don't know. But it don't seem accidental. I mean, part of it, I think, just my theory again, just speculating, y'all. One, he's mixed up with that Hollywood crowd. And he went from being like activist, Yale graduate, law, all that kind of thing, to like being in the Kardashian universe, the Hollywood universe. And there's always compromises you make to be in that mix, to get invited to those events, to get the big bags of money. All those things come at a price. And some of us are not willing to pay that price. Some of us are. And when you are willing to pay that price, sometimes you don't realize, you convince yourself that you're doing it for the right reason. You don't say, no, very few people be like, yo, I'm selling out today. Usually you convince yourself like, I'm doing a little sacrifice for the bigger cause. I'm doing a little thing here and before you know it, you done sold everything out.
That's fair.
And I think that's where he to me, when Van jumped the shark, when he said,
I have my moment. So you tell me your moment. I know mine.
Okay, I got a couple moments. Moment one was this is the first time.
There it is. He's presidential.
Yes, Donald Trump became president of the United States today. Shut up. He didn't.
So, okay, for me, I feel like he's a podcast bro without a podcast.
He's becoming that.
That's the
Right.
vibe that he gives me. Like, I feel like he's existing in that framework, but like as a political analyst on CNN. Like, I'm just gonna say off the wall shit because that's vibes.
Right. And he used to, I remember one night before Trump won the election, I was walking down 58th Street. I was still working at CNN. And I was going to get some sushi. Um,
at at
you already know, Blue Ribbon.
I was gonna say a Blue
My
Ribbon.
spot. I was in there today.
Ooh, jealous.
I actually stopped. It was in New York for like 3 hours. I was like, okay, I know I got to do this thing, but let me stop and get some sushi.
Mhm.
So, but I'm walking down the street, and Van was like, "Hey, Mark, I think Trump can win." Like out the blue. I'm like, he just popped out of the sushi spot. And I'm like, why the fuck is Van Jones in the sushi spot? Anyway, he pulls me into the lobby because it's connected to a hotel, 6 Hotel, and then he elaborately breaks down all the reasons that Donald Trump could be president at a moment where a lot of us were still saying this can't happen. He had it.
Like, was he saying it to you in the context of like it would be a good thing, or like he was just saying it to
No,
you like, oh, I think I see something that could be alarming?
he was saying basically he was saying like we're taking this shit as a joke, and
Oh,
we might have Donald Trump for 4 years. And he had charts. And I mean, I'm talking about like this is like 1 a.m. I'm just trying to have a lychee martini. He's pulling out charts and shit out his pocket, like flow charts and graphics, and he had a pointer damn near. And
hilarious. Not the PowerPoint.
no, dead ass. But he took it so seriously, and he was so passionate and so scared
Yeah.
of the presidency, as he should be. And so, to me, from that moment, I saw like a genuine purity of like passion, right? To go
Mhm.
from that to today's the day he became president of the United States is whack. I have a mixtape. It's like a tape of Van Jones. It's like, I think it's poetry or rap. I don't know what he's doing, but he's talking about on this tape. He's not spitting, but
I
he's
was
talking about
like,
Palestine. Yeah, no, you don't want that. But he's talking about um, Palestine, and he's speaking out. He knows about Palestine. Again, he's not somebody who doesn't know enough. He
oh,
knows this shit, right? He was a radical activist. The Ella Baker Center, right? He runs. And now when I saw him speaking out in defense basically of the genocide that's happening in Gaza, indirectly, he didn't say that directly, but indirectly, y'all niggas hear what y'all want to hear. this is what this person just
I
heard.
saw that and I was like,
Y'all
stay
just be
focused on what
dumb.
Mark is saying. It's like, stay focused.
And I was getting my food to
Wait,
go.
wait, wait.
Asshole.
Mark and Amanda sold the black community out when both of y'all was on CNN, and now you're both YouTubers. Are y'all just trying to outdo each other?
They are.
Oh,
They're like, I
okay.
will see your dickhead remark and double it with misinformation. In a minute they're gonna say we're part of the boule and that we sold, we have blood rituals and some other shit. But it's like usually the next level. This is where this thing naturally goes.
Oh,
But to like
well,
watch
I'm
Van,
still being told that I'm white. Someone told me I was white today.
yo, yo,
I
that
was like,
reminds me.
why do y'all keep bringing up these white men that raped my great grandparents?
Like they
That's
insist
what
that
you're doing every time you say that. Anytime you are calling attention to my light skin, what you're doing is literally giving regard to the white men in my line who raped the black women in my line, because that is where my light skin comes from. That's
and
not everybody's story, but that's my story.
and I hope people hear that this time, because I still think about the Shannon Sharp interview where like an hour into it, he's like, so your mother's white, right? Now, which would be bad if he didn't have 10,000 note cards.
You know what will be? You know what will make it even worse? That I told you I gave him a picture of my parents.
You did an impersonation of your mother in a West Indian accent for the first hour of the interview. I'm like, what do you think is happening? I was like, what are you doing?
I'm like, if you maybe he thought maybe he was just thinking of like Chet Hanks.
I was about to say
And
this.
because
Oh my God. But anyway, all that to say, to me, my frustration with Van is that he does this thing where he thinks he can. There's an ego there where
he's the black guy in
believes.
the room with glasses on.
Yes.
And that's like he that's what he gives me, is like, I'm the smart black guy here.
Right. and I'm the uniter. I can bring the Republicans and the Democrats together. I can bring the Israelis and the Palestinians together. So when he tries to act like there's nothing wrong with going to the pro-Israel rally in DC, and he gives a speech, and then he gets it, and then they boo his ass because he thought, well, I can just sneak in and say ceasefire. They don't fuck with you, bro.
So
They
is he
don't want a
delusional?
ceasefire. What'd you say?
Is he delusional?
No, because I texted him afterward. I won't tell people what I said, but I'll send it to you. I think I may have even sent it to you. If not, I'll send it to you. And he was trying to explain to me his position on it, and I didn't buy it.
Okay.
I was like, bro, I don't buy this. This is disingenuous. Like
Got it.
you're
It's
too
like when
smart to do
Tiffany
that, bro.
Haddish said to me, like, I'm going to Israel because I'm going to learn and I know about what I need to know. I know what I need to experience. Girl, you was just in a fucking video drinking champagne. Like, what
Right.
are we fucking talking about right now?
Yo, that
Like,
frustrated me so much. She was supposed to come to my bookstore on the other side of it and tell me what she learned. And I ended up, canceling the event because I was like, I was
I
like,
would have, I would have lit your ass up.
I know. I operated in good faith. Like, you know what? Come back. I'm going to ask you these tough questions about what happened. But then it's like, for what? I know she can't answer them. And I don't even mean that with any disrespect to her, but you didn't see anything because you don't know what to see. You went on an Israeli Hasbara tour.
That's all
I'm
you did.
looking all over your Instagram.
I'm
looking,
waiting.
and all I saw was her eating in restaurants, talking about the Jewish experience, which is great. I'm glad she's in touch with her Jewishness. I'm glad she's learning traditions and such. But like, don't tell me you're
Yeah,
going to
but
find
even the traditions that they were talking about weren't necessarily Jewish traditions. Like they were talking about pickles and how, like,
right,
pickles is a Jewish thing. And I'm like, pickling?
right, and an Israeli thing, right? I'm eating Israeli hummus.
There's no
No
such
such
thing.
thing.
There's no such thing.
It's so incredibly frustrating. So all that to say, yeah, I'm over people selling out and pretending that they did not sell out, or that they're just operating in good faith, that they're trying to get above the fray. No, you got to pick a side sometimes.
Say that.
And that's the thing that nobody wants to say. And we create this political narrative where we act like picking a side is the problem. Sometimes people are just wrong. Like nobody after 9/11 was like, I don't really want to pick a side. I just want to really come together. Right? Because we had a very clear idea of right and wrong, unnuanced to be sure, but we had an idea of right and wrong. But somehow when it comes to Palestinian suffering, or the suffering of Black people, or the suffering of trans people, there's all this. Now all of a sudden, let's rise
Yeah.
above the
Now all
fray.
of a sudden there's nuance.
Right. And I'm like, man, fuck the nuance, man. Yeah, look, fuck the nuance, Willful ignorance is exactly what it is. I don't know. Let me see. Somebody, Barrett Hudson, said, question to the both of you before you leave. How much of the Democratic Party wants Biden to step down to avoid Kamala Harris as president, or take it? You know what? Let me actually, because that's the last thing I want to ask you about.
It's quality over quantity.
Hold, before you answer that, I want to play you what AOC said, because this is the thing that I want to ask you about. Because she, for some reason, entered the news cycle today for saying what I think was accurate, and I appreciate what AOC said about this. So I want to play it so people can get the context. She said she went on her IG live, by the way, y'all. That's why it looks like this.
As we all know, politics is insane. Anyone who tells you 100% what's going to happen is lying to you or engaged in an enormous amount of hubris. I'm not here to tell you that if Joe Biden is the nominee, he's definitely going to win. But because I don't think if anybody is the nominee, we're definitely going to win. Okay? And I understand where we want to talk about hedging bets, but I do want you to know what gets uncorked. Because if you think that's going to be an easy transition, I'm here to tell you that a huge amount of the donor class and a huge amount of these elites and a huge amount of these folks in these rooms that I see that are pushing for President Biden to not be the nominee also are not interested in seeing the vice president being the nominee.
For the record, I did not kiss my dog on the mouth. Like, what the fuck do you even be watching? these are weird people in your comments.
I don't know. We have a bigger crowd than normal. And this
Like,
is,
I went like this to kiss him on the cheek, and they're like, she kissed us all in the mouth. I'm like,
people see what they want to see, yo.
why do you guys, like, your IQs are operating in a single digit space, and it's not cool. Well, I don't think she's wrong. But I also don't know that what she's saying is final.
I think that's right. The reports I've heard are that if Joe Biden steps down, Joe Biden is not going to endorse Kamala. That's the reports I'm hearing. And that he's going to advocate for an open convention. So Kamala can run, as can Gavin Newsom or Josh Shapiro or whomever, which is very different than Biden saying, "Hey, I'm stepping off the stage, but my VP is next up, and I encourage the party to support her." And the reason is, I think what she said. I think she's right. The donor class, a lot of them don't want her. Some don't want her because they don't like her. Some don't want her because they don't think she can win. Some don't want her because they have somebody else they want to win that they can control more. How likely is it to you that Kamala Harris becomes the nominee if, and I think when, Joe Biden steps down?
Well, I think what you just entered into the schematic changes things drastically, right? Like, if there's a convention, I do think that changes things. And I think it becomes a matter of who he ends up endorsing. So if they have a convention and Gavin Newsom is put into the mix and he endorses him, I do think that would make him a much more likely option for candidate than Kamala Harris in the schematics of America. But if the only
I lost your audio. We lost your audio. The white man is trying to
no, it's my dog. It's Jordy. Like, he's like right here. Here's the thing that I just want us to pull out a little bit. When she's talking about like the elites and whatnot, I feel like she's contextualizing it in what a lot of people think is maybe just like, oh, like fancy white people voting. But it really is like the oligarchy, like the people who are the Rockefellers and the Kochs and the, like, I mean, not in that case, the Kochs, but like the monies, the big families who have funded these people and who are in these corporations that run this country. Like, that's, to me, who is really backseat driving this situation. And the Israel lobby, like, that's who's really conversing about like what is happening right now. And they're the ones who are deciding who is going to take over America. I have for a long time said, this idea that like the people get to determine who the president is a short-sighted concept, because ultimately, why would a company give the choice of CEO to the employees? And America is a company. Now, we influence it, but we've seen more than one time where the popular vote did not determine who the president was. So it's like, I think that when we talk about candidacy and whatnot, what we really are asking ourselves is like, who is the person that's going to please as many people at the top and could possibly also get the populace behind them? Do I think Kamala can do that? She's gotten pretty far.
Yeah, she's gotten far. I mean, you don't get this far if you're not in striking range, right?
She said she was a top cop. She was an AG. She was a senator. Like, so black people don't get, like, black faces don't get to those high spaces without having committed themselves to some level of, I'm gonna hold this up for y'all. Like, I'm not gonna burn this thing down.
Right. And there's no doubt about that. I mean, even Obama, right, who some people saw as a radical,
took it out, yeah,
who's going to destroy I mean, pretty ordinary. I mean, you could say he was a great Democratic president. Like, he ran American empire as well as any empire manager is going to run it, particularly from the liberal side of things. But there was no disruption of the American economy. American capitalism was safe. Big Pharma was safe. The military-industrial complex was safe. no one is going to be in striking distance, particularly from these major corporate parties, if they're going to be radically different than the status quo. So Kamala is certainly in that mix. I'm not convinced that America will elect a Black woman to lead this empire right now, just given where we are. And I think that there are some candidate stuff. There's some candidate things that make her hard. Like when she ran for president, she didn't get a lot of votes. Buttigieg did better. Warren did better. Sanders did better. Biden did better. So I'm just not sure.
Well, the only reason she's even being put up in this position is because they legally can't use the donor money for somebody else.
Interesting.
So the donor money that was given to the Biden-Harris campaign can only be used for either of them on the ticket. So that's why she's the natural step.
So it would be interesting.
They would have to. They would literally have to refund if they wanted to put a completely new person in. They'd have to refund everybody their donor money.
Right. I was wondering if it would be possible, because this is an interesting situation where, I've seen other campaigns pay off other people's bills. So I guess perhaps they could do that if Kamala were to bow out. Biden, Harris could then pay for Newsom or Shapiro or whoever runs. But there's no motivation to do that right now.
No, I don't think they. Are you sure? I don't. From what I've read, they were like, they can't. Like, people donated to this campaign, so you can't take that. Like, it's not. Like, it's fraud.
So I need to look into. I don't know enough about this to have an opinion on it. I don't want to give an uninformed opinion. So I don't know. I'm just like, damn. What happens if you lose and you haven't spent all the money? You just give it back, because they don't ever give. I don't really donate to that many campaigns, but I never got $1 back. And everybody I vote for lose. So I ain't voted for a motherfucking winner in years.
Everybody I vote for lose. I don't know, but I mean, it doesn't strike me as odd that, like, if you donate to a campaign, they can't just change the candidates.
It's fair.
That makes sense to me. I think yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
because you're not donating to like there's like donating to the Democratic Party, and then there's donating to the specific campaign.
Right. How if Kamala gets the nomination, do you think she can win? As a practical matter, just nuts and bolts. Do you think
the only way I believe that Kamala could win is if she has somebody on her ticket who can garner large swaths of individuals that she cannot. And at present, so one of the things that she has in her favor is that there really are a lot of people who are like, vote blue no matter who.
Right.
So there's that. Like, you have an entire sect of folks who are just like, that's what it is. I think that there would be a number of people who wouldn't vote for her because of her being a Black Indian woman, but they also wouldn't vote for Trump.
Interesting. So I think they stay home.
Yeah, I think they just, or they vote the rest of the ballot.
Gotcha.
However, I think that were they to pick the right VP, well, let me also just add, like, there's a lot of people who fuck with Kamala.
Yes. A lot of people.
So let's not discount that. Like, there are a lot of
people voting for Biden anyway. If Kamala's your person, you probably would vote for Biden anyway.
Anyway, so, and if you were voting for Biden, then you're just like, whatever, like, I was going to get her regardless. So, there's that. But I think the real only way that she could win is if she coalition builds with somebody who gets voters excited that she wouldn't have. So like Bernie or Buttigieg or Beto.
Beto is, you said this to me on the phone earlier, and it stuck with me. Beto O'Rourke would be a very interesting choice. Like, you pick somebody from Texas. You pick somebody who already kind of identifies as a uniter. You know what I mean? That could work.
You pick somebody who's also a grassroots, very committed campaigner who you need to learn from on how to do that for the next 4 months.
Because that cat almost won in Texas.
So
As
like
you know what I
he
mean?
would need, like he would like have her out there in her chucks, get the fucking suit off, put on a tracksuit, and get in the streets.
Like a T.I. sweatsuit. You was here rock the Sergio Tacchini.
She's like showing up at people's doors like, hey, I'm Kamala Harris. I'm running for president and you don't know me. So I want you to learn about me because I'm a new girl.
I'm with it. I think that'll
One
make
time I was with T.I. I was with T.I. after like the ATL premiere in New York. And you know, I was an affiliate. So I was with Drama and the DJs, and we were in the Sprinter. And I was like, you don't know me. He was like, that's not how you do it.
How'd you feel when that happened?
I was like, what? He was like, that ain't how you do it. And I was like, well, can you show me the proper way to you don't know me? And he was like, it's you don't know me. I was like, I'll work on my.
Did he look that serious when he said it too? Like
He was very serious and slightly disgusted. Like, don't do my shit wrong.
You can do my shit, but you can't do it wrong.
Shouted. So yeah, like that. I think Beto, if again, this is also considering what their goal is. If they're like, I don't know that the people they serve with the money are going to support Beto. I don't know. But they have people that they have to serve.
Is there any chance Hillary Clinton gets in the mix?
I mean, there's no way it's a Hillary Kamala ticket. I mean, that sounds.
No, I mean if Hillary Clinton come in and strong arm the whole thing.
I think
an open convention. I mean, I could run, you could run, Hillary could run and win, and she got enough.
Yeah, but Hillary, people like I don't think Hillary even has a chance in hell. I mean, I think Kamala has a greater chance of winning than Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is one of the most. Well, she doesn't.
You think she's too divisive still?
She just stank. Like I just feel like it's like go away. Like you just.
I feel
like you're. Like when people say, when people say I'm unlikable, it's like, yeah, but I'm not running for office. Like she's unlikable, and she's just not a
but she was so close, and a lot of people are like, damn, I wish I could get my vote back. Damn, Hillary was right. You know, all the Hillary was writers. You know, I don't know if that's just an internet thing, but I just.
But I mean, I think Hillary was right about certain things, but I also think that Hillary is no different than the white men that came before her in a lot of ways.
I think that's right. But white men are like damn near undefeated in presidential elections. So I'm like, I don't know.
I just think that this is a real kind of wild card. And I think that when I see how much the Israeli lobby is involved in our government and the choices that are made, it really is going to boil down to a lot of factors on where this country's corporations and the people who run it want it to go. And, you know, we're seeing a Supreme Court that has actively decided that they want this country to be a white nationalist theocracy. Like that is what they are supporting with their decision making. You know, that's what they're supporting by throwing so much back to states' rights. So like they've already, you know, we already know who's bought them, and we know that that's like their trajectory. However, that's not everyone who runs this nation. And you see the Elon Musks of it all, and you're like, okay, these people are very loud about their desire for holding on to the 1% and just making life terrible for like a lot of people. And I just don't know that we have enough information about. I agree. When you said her name like 2 times, I was like, stop. She might be listening. I just don't. I think that it's really somewhat disingenuous to have these conversations when ultimately lobbyists and corporations end up really having a huge amount of the decision making of this behind the scenes. And affecting the electoral.
We're deciding right now who we're going to be able to vote for.
Literally, they're having conversations at Bohemian Grove and Fort whatever, and it's just that I think we end up getting kind of on a hamster wheel to get distracted.
Well,
Like, I don't think it doesn't sit well with me that our election feels like watching Sunday Night Football. That's how unserious it is. It's like who's gonna be the new leader of the free world? Like, that's odd. And then you have like Wolf Blitzer up there, and he's like, "What's it gonna be in Kentucky?" It's just, it's a show.
well, hopefully the show ends soon, man. At least Biden, and we're gonna wrap it up, y'all. I know y'all all got things to do. Biden is going to, I think, step down. If I were guessing, this is me guessing. I think Sunday. I think he's going to recover from just out of the race. He's still going to be president, but I think on Sunday he's going to be like, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this thing up.
Once they said that man had COVID, I said, well, they're
Right.
packing up the boxes.
Yeah. COVID is only thing about the COVID thing is I don't think he wants to. I would hate.
Do you think he really has COVID?
I do. I think he has everything. I think he's like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. I think he has.
I don't think he has COVID.
I think he has every disease and every illness in the world.
I don't think he has COVID. I think they needed an out that doesn't make him look weak.
See, I think COVID makes you look weak. I think it would be better for him to say, "Look, as my grandma."
No, you and I know that, but that's not how he thinks.
I think he's misreading the American public. I think if he tells the public,
you think?
I mean, if Donald Trump is eating shots. You know what I mean? He getting shot.
But think about the Democrats. Look at what you just said. They're misreading the American public. That's been their brand.
Yeah. It may be.
I just think it's wild that you believe anything this government is saying. I don't believe shit that they say.
The reason I believe it is because I don't think it's in his interest to have COVID. I think it's in his interest to not have COVID. I think.
Do you really think that let me
tell you my whole theory. Let me tell you. Let me show you.
Wait. Do you think we would know that he had COVID if it wasn't in his interest?
I'm gonna tell you why. Here's my thought on it. The country wants him to leave. He doesn't want to leave.
Right.
He wants to show that he can still win. He still thinks that as long as it gets to September and the game is close, he can still win.
But he said if there was a medical issue, he would leave.
Right. So what I'm saying is, though, I think that this medical issue doesn't rise up enough to make him leave the camp, to make him leave. I think the problem is he looked crazy on the debate. He's given us several bad interviews and press conferences. And with COVID, he has to get off the campaign trail for 5 days. And he didn't want people saying, why are you hiding? So I think he had to say he had COVID so that he could hide. And I think his team uses an opportunity. Like, look, I think they're pressuring him to stay off the campaign trail so that they can get in his ear like, yo, exit stage left even. Like right now, you need to be out. I think that's their strategy for him.
Well, they also had to move. They also had to they were trying to move up the nomination date.
Yeah. I think all of it is part of the calculus. I'm just saying, I think that if he steps out, I think he wants to step out with dignity and with his head held high. Like, look, I want to be elder statesman. I want to do what's best for the party. I want to leave. I think if you do that, in the bed with COVID, I don't think he wants to leave with COVID. I think he wants to leave without COVID. So I think he's going to wait until the COVID's out. I think he wants to look strong. He wants to stand in front of the American people. He wants to have his flashcards. He wants to have his grand slam breakfast ready.
I think you're going to get all of that because I don't really believe that he really has COVID.
He might not. Look,
there you go, Chad. Monstrous ego.
And
monstrous.
And that's why I think he would never stand in front of the American people looking sick. I think he wants to stand up there strong and tough. And,
I'm telling you, I feel like he would literally do that saying I have COVID. Like, look how strong and tough I am with COVID. Like, I don't believe shit from these people anymore. They're fucking liars. They don't do anything that they say they're going to do. There's all this duplicitous shit. And at the end of the day, they pick and choose what info we're supposed to have, what we're not supposed to have, what they don't want us to have. The propaganda is so OD that it's just, at this point, I'm a skeptic to the point of almost a cynic. But
nothing wrong with that in this country.
Irregardless, I do think that he's gonna step down. But the last comment I want to make though is that so many people feel like this stuff is just like unprecedented. It's not possible for things to be this crazy. And I just got over COVID and chaotic.
Allegedly.
But it was only a matter of time. And I think America has just done a really good job of like keeping certain things hidden from the American people for a long time. And it's just gotten harder and harder to do that with the amount of social media there is, and everybody has cameras and phones, and there's just and egos, and it's just not as easy to keep the lid on.
Right. Between social media, investigative journalists, more leaks than ever.
Yeah.
All of it. It's nearly impossible to hide. And so the truth is going to come out one way or the other.
But I think what we always have to remember is that all of us are talking out of our ass because we really don't know everything because they don't tell us everything.
Yep. That's it. So we just got to do the work we do and try and keep telling the truth. And that's what you do every day. As you're leaving, tell me where should people find you? Where should people go to find you and support you?
You can find me on Instagram at Amanda Seals. You can support my Patreon, where you can subscribe to the Amandaverse. So you can be a member of the Seals Squad. I'm also on tour. I have 4 more tour dates: New York, Atlanta, DC, and LA. And you can get your tickets at amandaseals.com and show your love and support. There have been efforts to get my shows canceled by powers that want my silence, and hopefully people will show that that is not going to have any impact on their ability to show up. So go to amandaseals.com and at the very least sign up for the newsletter so that you can stay up to date on what I got going on. Shout out to Rolando DD Seal Squad, and the New York show is August 23rd. Yes,
that's it, y'all. So make sure y'all go to amandaseals.com. Make sure you support the Patreon. Again, y'all want people out here telling the truth, taking risks. You encourage us to put our jobs on the line, our lives on the line, our work on the line. If you do that, then we got to close ranks around each other and support each other. That means supporting the work that she does. If corporate media won't create space, or if these major outlets don't create venues, then we got to make our own. And you can't do that without financial support. It's really that simple. So go to amandaseals.com, support, go to her Patreon and become a patron. Do it today. Support all her stuff. And of course, when she comes to your town, make sure you support. All right. I'll holler at you later. Peace. All right, y'all. It's always a joy when she comes on. Before we go, I'm going to do the Gaza update with y'all. So I'm going to take a quick 30-second break. When I come back, we're going to do the War on Gaza report, where we give you the latest from Israel's war, not in Gaza, but on Gaza. We'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back to Night School. It is now time for the War on Gaza report. Israel's war on Gaza today reaches day 287. That's right, for 287 consecutive days, Israel's war on Gaza has continued. It is not a war in Gaza, it is a war on Gaza. And we give you the latest updates. We give you the information that mainstream media doesn't want you to have. We give you the insights that commercial outlets don't want you to have access to. We do that so that all of us can fight for justice. We begin the War on Gaza report on day 287 with the numbers, as we always do. As of today, 38,848 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since October 7th. Again, 38,848 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since October 7th. That number does not even include the more than 10,000 Palestinians who have been inaccessible to help crews, whose families have been blocked from retrieving their bodies from under the rubble. That's right, more than 10,000 people are under the rubble right now. And while their death is not in dispute, they haven't gotten access to burial services. Their parents haven't been able to claim them. They haven't been given closure. This is the problem, not just from a numbers counting standpoint, because the number is really more than 50,000 people are dead in Gaza, but it's also another denial of human rights. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, in addition to that number, there's also 89,459 people who have been wounded in Israel's war on Gaza. Those numbers are continuing to grow by the day. As of today, dozens more Palestinians have been killed in the most recent wave of Israeli attacks on the Nuseirat refugee camp, as well as other locations in Gaza throughout Friday evening and into Saturday morning. That's according to reports. As you know, the Nuseirat refugee camp has been a target for violence since October 7th, but in the last few weeks, the Nuseirat refugee camp has had schools bombed. It's had shelters bombed. It has been effectively maybe the most intense target of the Israeli occupation forces in the most recent weeks, going into Friday. And of course, as you know, now into Saturday morning, as you know, because it's 5 a.m. in Palestine at the time of this recording, or we're live, but you know what I mean. Countries across the world have also reacted to the most recent ruling at The Hague. The International Court of Justice ruled that Israel's occupation of Palestinian land is in violation of international law and must end. Again, the court at the International Court of Justice, the ICJ, the High Court of the United Nations, has ruled that Israel's occupation of Palestinian land is in violation of international law and must end. In particular, they're referring to the occupation of the West Bank. If you didn't know, the West Bank has been under Israeli occupation since 1967, since June 10th of 1967, or the war started on June 5th. So, but the Six-Day War marked a moment where East Jerusalem came under Israeli occupation. It was a moment where the West Bank came under Israeli occupation, where the Sinai and the Golan Heights came under Israeli occupation. Some of the land has been given back. Some of the land has changed in terms of dynamic. If you look at the Golan, obviously Gaza more recently has shifted ownership or possession in certain ways, although Israel maintains effective control over the Gaza Strip. But at the end of the day, while Israel has argued that all the land is theirs legally, that all of Eretz Israel is theirs, the international community has disputed that claim. And that dispute has been pushed from dominant opinion to law. And international law hasn't been ambiguous on this matter for a very long time, if ever. But now the International Court of Justice just reaffirms what most of us in the world have already known and said, which is that the occupation of Palestinian land is illegal. Of course, according to the advocacy group Oxfam, they said that the ruling confirms that Israel is, quote, committing the crime of apartheid in the West Bank. Also, we have B'Tselem, which is a Jerusalem-based Israeli organization, and they said that the international community, quote, must force Israel to end the occupation. Now, of course, you'll be shocked to know that Israeli officials have rejected the ICJ decision. It's a non-binding decision, while Israeli settlers launched a wave of attacks on Palestinians and their property in the occupied West Bank. And this is something that we've seen over and over and over and over again. As we're talking right now, just 11 minutes ago, the Israeli military has bombed another home in the Nuseirat refugee camp. I just talked a moment ago about them being targets. Well, just a few minutes ago, the Israeli military has bombed yet another home in the Nuseirat refugee camp in central Gaza, killing at least 8 people and injuring more. That's according to Al Jazeera Arabic. The strike hit the Abu Sidra family home earlier We talked about the strike that hit the Al-Sharihi, excuse me, the Al-Sharihi family home in Nusrat. That killed 4 people. So the Abu Sidra home was bombed, 8 people dead. The Al-Sharihi family home in Nusrat attacked, 4 people dead. Also, in the last few hours, 25 more people have been killed in Israeli attacks on Burej, on Nusrat, on Gaza City, and on Jabalia. So we're talking about bombing after bombing after bombing after bombing. In Burej, which I just mentioned, 3 people killed there when the Israeli military bombed a home inside of Burej, which is a refugee camp in central Gaza, not that far from Nusrat. They killed 3, they injured more. It continues to press on, this genocidal war. And we can continue to pretend, we can continue to act as if this is some even-handed, justifiable war of of competing agendas and different sides, or we can be honest and say that this is a gross and disproportionate act of aggression that violates all conventions of war and international law and human rights. We got to tell the truth about that. We got a question coming in from Bullet the Bunny, who says, what are the practical implications of the ICC ruling? It's an ICJ ruling. It's important to make that distinction. The ICC, of course, makes rulings around war crimes. But the ICJ, which is the court in The Hague, is not related to the war crimes. And they're saying that they're speaking specifically about the occupation, which, there are legal arguments for it being an ongoing military occupation and therefore it being seen as an act of war, which then justifies Palestinian self-defense in those areas. But I don't want to get into in the weeds of that. Your question is, what are the practical implications of the ruling today, which is the ICJ? The practical implications, I worry, are nothing. The international community already said they were illegal. Palestinians already know they were illegal. America already knows they're illegal. I mean, you can go back. I mean, as far back as George W. Bush was like, yo, this is illegal. Reagan knew it was illegal. The international community in general knows it's illegal. They don't care. And even after it was announced that it was illegal, what does Netanyahu say? What does the prime minister of Israel say? He says, yeah, well, we disagree. And it's anti-Semitic to say that we're in violation of international law. So there are people who say this is illegal, go Hague. There are other people who say we don't agree, so go Israel. And so as a practical matter, if Israel is not willing to honor the ruling of the court, then it's the international community's responsibility to do something about it. The problem is the international community has been unwilling to consistently enforce international law just as a rule. They enforce international law against African countries. That's why the ICC was referred to as the ACC, the African Criminal Court. But in general, they're not pressing on America. They're not pressing on, or maybe Russia a little bit. They're not pressing on the UK or France or Germany. It ain't going to happen. So until the international community is serious about enforcing international law, the ICJ's ruling doesn't matter, and neither does the ICC when that happens, which of course happens all the time. It's a wonderful question. Thank you for asking it, family. I want to thank you for watching Night School tonight. That wraps up our show tonight. I want to shout out my sister, my friend, my homie, Amanda Seals, for weighing in and bringing the fire and the smoke and the honesty and the integrity. As always, I want to thank y'all on a Friday night for giving us what looks like our biggest live audience of the week. It's pretty dope to be talking to y'all. It's pretty dope to be having these conversations with y'all. And I want to thank you all for supporting it tonight. Please hit the like button. If you've been watching this all night and you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. If you're watching this on Twitter, head over to YouTube right now and hit the like button. And also hit the subscribe button, y'all. This channel grows when you subscribe. This channel grows when you hit the like button. The like button allows us to tell the algorithm that we matter and that corporate media ain't the only game in town. The subscribe button expands our social media and YouTube in particular footprint so that we can occupy more space and get more content out. And also, family, if you're so inclined, please, 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 please hit the join button. When you hit the join button, you become a member. You give us the financial stability that we need to make this channel work. I want to shout out some people here who did just that. We have a bunch of new members tonight, and we also have people like Rachel who gifted 5 memberships. 5 of y'all got a channel membership for, I believe, a month. Check it out. If you like it, sign up for yourself. Kenneth, thank you for your generous donation as well. My brother Jeremiah Muhammad gifted 20 memberships. 20. Can you believe that? 20 memberships. Shout out to you for doing that. I'm so grateful. Thank you for gifting 20 memberships to the channel. That is a big deal. That is helping us grow. Atlanta Yardy, I love that name. $19.99. Thank you so much for the generous donation. Same to you. Just here for the videos. If I didn't say it already, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Family, please continue to make the join button something that we do. Join the channel, become a monthly subscriber to the channel. It gives us the financial stability that we need to build the channel, to grow, to get more content, to get more voices on the program, to expand our reach, to intensify our efforts to do this thing as well as anybody's ever done it. We want to create independent, radical media. We don't have anybody. You don't have a corporate check being written for us. There's no billionaire behind us. There's no mainstream media underwriting us. We do this on the muscle. We do this with the power of the people. We do this from the power of the people. So please, if you can join, we ask for you to join. If you can't join, the only other thing I would say is tonight, make a one-time donation. You know, a lot of people here just say, look, I pay my tuition for the month and I enjoy all the programming. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m., we do night school. 9 p.m. on Sunday, we do office hours. 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, you're going to have the Coffee and Books podcast. On Sunday, you're going to have the Classroom in the Cell with political prisoner Mumia Abu Jamal. He is literally giving you content from the dungeons of SCI Mahanoy as he spends his life on slow death row, convicted to a life sentence, sentenced to life in prison for a crime that he did not commit. And yet he still comes out here every week and gives us content, not about him, but about the world. I ask everybody to just, if you can, support us in any way that you can. If you have $1,000, $1 million, feel free to send it. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. And if you have $1, feel free to send it. If $1 is not too small, $2 is not insufficient, any amount you can send to us, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, all the platforms are there. We greatly appreciate it. But we say that if everybody watching right now, if every single person watching right now were to donate $10, of course you can give a lot more. You can give a lot less. Again, $1 would be fine. But if everybody watching right now could donate $10, we would meet all of our financial goals for the month. If everybody watching right now would donate $10, we would meet all of our financial goals for the month. And so I ask you to donate what you can so that we can continue to keep this train going toward building an independent media platform. I'm so grateful to y'all. I'm so grateful for y'all. I appreciate you. And I will see you tomorrow for the War on Gaza report. And I will see you on Sunday for office hours at 9 o'clock live. We have an amazing guest who's going to help us break down some of the most insightful issues in the world. All right, y'all. I'll see you later. Peace.